you still saying though, there's 1,000 people out here watching me.
Family get-togethers and food and dancing, and we're super bad and we're super connected on so many levels.
I'd never seen those videos before. That's why we donated them.
There was just a rhythm to it, there was always music going. There's always some music in the background.
We're inviting artists to delve into the Southside Home Movie Project's archive and to create new works.
It's a living, breathing thing now.
I just want to get back to him again.
I love the layering of stories and the ways that the lyrics can play off what's happening visually.
As a creative, I can get in and I can play. So it's cool to do that.
Baby, can you still say it though? There's 1,000 people out here watching me. Can you say mighty, mighty for me? I hear you, baby, yeah. Feeling kind of good now.
Good evening, everyone. We're so excited that you could join us tonight for our newest Spinning Home Movies episode. We're going to do things a little slightly differently and not just start with the episode intro, but actually we're going to hear from the artists as we go along. Let me tell you a little bit about them. Tonight, you're going to be watching The Movements of Decomposed, a special episode of Spinning Home Movies featuring 4 short films composed of vintage home movies footage from the Southside Home Movie Project, curated and soundtracked with original performances by Decomposed, the Chicago-based chamber music experience that honors Black creativity and culture through the music of Black composers. Through a 6-month collaboration with Southside Home Movie Project, Decomposed ensemble members poured over the home movie collections, making connections with their own lives and family histories, and emerged with 4 central themes: autonomy, acceptance, mourning, and joy. Building on the legacy of Black storytelling, each short film or movement features a set of film clips carefully selected by the ensemble member around her chosen theme and soundtracked with a new performance by the Decomposed ensemble. I'm going to turn it over to them now so that they can introduce their episode.
Hi, my name is Yeli.
Hi, my name is Tahira.
Hi, my name is Caitlin.
Hi, my name is Corey, and you're watching The Movements of Decomposed on Spinning Home Movies.
Corey, let's talk about the piece that you have put together, which is so remarkable, and it's about the theme of Black women's autonomy. Could you talk about what autonomy means to you, or what you found in the archive that made you think about this idea?
Yeah, so when I think about autonomy, I really think about it in terms of like being free to exist without being unbothered. I think unbothered is just like kind of this central theme that kept coming up when I was looking through the archives. And to me, it's like being left alone. No one's in their space. No one's commenting, no one's touching. It's really just about that free to be. So when you're seeing all these images, you're seeing Black women exploring, you're seeing Black women being unbothered and just kind of like living life on their own terms. So when I think about autonomy, it's like choosing to live life how you want to, with no care for what anybody else thinks or what they're doing, and just living on your terms.
That's fantastic. Well, thank you so much for reflecting on your incredible work and for doing it. We're so grateful. Thank you.
Yes, thank you for the opportunity.
You may write me down in history with your bitter, twisted lies. You may trod me in the very dirt, but still like dust, I'll rise. Does my sassiness upset you? Why are you beset with gloom just because I walk as if I have oil wells pumping in my living room? Just like suns and like moons, with the certainty of tides, just like hope springing high, still I rise.
Tahira, let's talk about your project and the concept of lunch. And I just have to say that many years ago, we had some young people working with us on a project with the archive, and they were really interested in like the food.
Okay.
You know, the turkeys, the Coke bottles. So I'm just thrilled that you picked up on a concept of everyday life that, you know, that might go unnoticed, and yet it's actually prevalent when you look for it. So you started looking for lunch. Talk about like why lunch is such a significant theme for you in this.
Absolutely. Well, the thing that grabbed me about, you were talking about the William Jr., the clip of William Jr., you know, with his lunchbox going to school. And that was a part of, I think there was a compilation that when we were introduced to the SSHMP team, that was one of the clips that was shown to us. And I was like, okay, I'm using that. That immediately grabbed my attention. And I just started thinking about lunch in the sphere of acceptance, you know, where Black people have been able to eat and just feel accepted. And it took me back to like the SNCC lunch counter sit-ins in the 1960s, you know, not being, you know, being turned away just, you know, from places, from eateries, and hotels, musicians, touring musicians having to have a list of places that they could stop on their travels. Or they'd be turned away or roughed up or shot, or anything could have happened. So there's a huge underlying meaning behind lunch for me with these clips. I wanted to find specific moments where people are eating, gathering, probably in their backyard, because that's where, you know, Black folks will, you know, gather for the reunions or whatnot. But not necessarily those momentous occasions, but just gathering because we're comfortable, gathering because we're welcome, gathering because we can sit down and eat and feel good and converse and be around people who accept you. And so that's the underlying drive of my film, yeah.
What grade? Kindergarten. Kindergarten? Wow, you're getting to be a big boy already, aren't you? Yeah. What's that you got in that red pail there? Lunch. That's your lunch? Yeah. Oh. What did you say? You know, my lucky, you know you put it in here and this is for you when you at school. I got such a good boy.
At Chicago Fest. Breathing on corn and barbecue. Where's the corn? Lit, girl. I got it in my hand. Say hi, Sheena. Lee, say something. Say something. Say something else. Excuse me. Pardon me. I'm eating too. I have to start eating now, okay?
Hi, Yeli.
Hi.
So you chose the theme of mourning for your piece, and you spoke earlier about the passing of your aunt, just one of the things that motivated you to choose this topic. And, you know, one of the things about these kinds of home movies is that they tend to show happy times, but we know a lot more is happening in the lives of people in these films than they necessarily directly document. So it's really curious to know how you took a topic that may not necessarily be directly represented in the archive, but you were able to find images that spoke to it so well.
So when I think about my background and experiences of mourning and collective celebration sadness, it's all centered around church. And so that was one of the things that I was looking for, the spaces of people coming out of church buildings, which, and I think it's interesting because, you know, you don't know if it's a funeral, you don't know if it's a celebration, you don't know if it's a service by the gathering of the people outside, because I think sometimes grief is complicated and it can look like smiling and it can look like laughter one moment, and then it can also be falling on the floor in the next moment. And so, and I think the reason why I wanted to look at it that way was in the funeral, after my aunt's funeral, had you walked into that space, you wouldn't have necessarily known that it was a funeral that we had just attended. It was also a family reunion. It was people who hadn't seen each other in 20 years, taking pictures and laughing and telling stories. And so I was thinking about that element of what's visible on the surface, what's not necessarily visible, and how that changes, you know, with the context. So
wow.
Those are a couple of things I was thinking about.
Beautiful. Thank you so much for sharing this work and all of this reflection with us. It's so meaningful and powerful. Thank you, Yelly.
Thank you.
So Caitlin, for your piece, you emphasize Black joy.
Yes.
And fortunately, gratefully, that is a term that we are hearing and using more and more. And I would love for you to talk about what that phrase means to you, Black joy, and why it is that that was something that jumped out to you when you started looking through the Southside Home Movie Project archive.
So Black joy to me means freedom. Freedom to laugh, freedom to be yourself, despite, what craziness might be going on, how the boss man might have talked to you crazy, whatever. When you get home, when you're surrounded by your community, by your loved ones, you feel free and you can still laugh in the face of adversity. That's what Black joy means to me, to be comfortable, to be free and carefree. And looking through the archives, it's easy in a way to do Black joy because everybody, they filmed the highlights of their life, weddings, graduations, blah, blah, blah. But what really got me about it was to see all of these beautiful and different Black people from all from the 60s, the 70s. And, just seeing all this beauty, I wanted to showcase it and just explore, in the different age ranges and, facets of what joy can look like and what joy can be.
Thank you so much, Caitlin.
Thank you. Nice speaking with you.
Wonderful to speak with you. You are Black joy. Let me just say that. There we go.
Thank you.
Hi, my name is Yeli.
Hi, my name is Tahira.
Decomposed.
Hi, my name is Caitlin.
What amazing movements you all have taken us through. So many expressions of the human experience. We're so honored that you collaborated with us in this special journey. And I'm so happy that we can do this in front of a live audience on YouTube. Thank you so much, Arts and Public Life, for your production prowess, for making this possible. Thank you all to the Women's Board and the Frankie Institute for funding such an amazing partnership. And thank you all for joining us live, and especially our film donors for sharing their memories to inspire such extraordinary new work. I'm so happy that we can be joined tonight by several members of Decomposed. And I'm sure everyone's gotten to see your faces and are already just fans if they weren't fans before. But can we give it up for you all? And please, I would love to hear each of your reactions to just this process. Hi, Corey. Hi, Yeli. Hi, Caitlin.
Hey, Justin.
Thanks for joining tonight.
Hi, Justin. I'd be happy to start our reactions to the process of making the films or watching the films.
Whichever speaks to you in this moment.
So this was the first time I've seen the films, and they were incredible. And, I obviously knew what the music was because I recorded it. I was there when it was being recorded, but the way that the films enhanced the music and the music enhanced the film was really beautiful. And the way that each of the members of the ensemble engaged with the topic, I know that it was really intentional, and a lot of time was spent going through the archives. And it was really a joyful and encouraging and growing process to both put them together and also to see the end product from our first conversation until now.
I would add too, I think what was really cool about seeing everything for the first time is while we were all working with the archives, we all had very different approaches for how we wanted to tell these marvelous Black stories. So it was really nice to kind of see everyone's viewpoint and take on like how we're going to tell this story, how we're going to express our creativity. And I think the biggest word I could use to kind of describe this whole process is like stretching. We definitely had to stretch ourselves creatively because even though we had hundreds of films to work from, trying to put it into these narratives and figure out these stories was very challenging. So I'm so proud of everyone and what they did and how they put it together. I think it's a beautiful product, and I love that we were able to watch it and you guys all saw it come to life.
Yeah, this was such a cool project to be a part of. I just like Yeli, I've never done anything like this before. And so really working on this with Avery, it was really cool because it challenged me to think in a different way creatively. Just like looking at this precious like archive of history, being able to react and just see how people, lived back then, how they dressed, how they interacted with each other. It was really such a privilege to be able to have access to the archive. So yeah, it's great.
I'm so glad that you all bring each such a remarkable spirit to your work. And we know that from working with you very early on that there was a story that needed to be told, and each of you dived into that so deeply. And thank you for working over the last 6 months to see it get expressed. And I know that Avery LaFlamme has been a critical partner with you all in that. Our series editor, Avery, let's give it up for Avery. And I'm not sure if he's having some issues of joining us, but hopefully he'll be able to get on the call. But we have a full house, okay? This is almost making me feel like we're back in person, all right? We've got our film donors with us as well. We've got Lydia Rainier. We've got Gustina Steele. We have Leah Merrifield as well from the we have Leah Merrifield as well from the Merrifield collection. So we're so excited that you all could join us as well. Can I start with you, Gustina? I see you on my screen. Thank you for joining us tonight. Is this your first Spinning Home Movies Rewind that you've joined before? Oh, you're on mute. Sorry, we can't hear you, Gustina. I'm going to ask you to unmute if you can.
Okay, can you hear me now?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay, I was saying that I'm seeing this for the first time, even though I contributed these clips several years ago. So it's really fascinating to actually see how they've been put together and really made a difference. And I just wish I had known that back then when I recorded this, when I was really an amateur, I had just gotten a home movie camera. I wish I could have had the foresight to really put it together a little better so that as we look at it now, it can really have some depth and meaning. And even though my whole process, my whole primary objective was to just record my children growing up. And now they're all grown up, and even my grandchildren, they get a big kick out of seeing all of these home movie clips of their parents and of themselves. And I just think it's just a wonderful thing. I'm really happy that I got into it as a hobby.
And we're so happy as well, truly. Your films are very unique in our collection. Not only does it kind of subvert the norm of, the documentary of the family is not the uncle or the father, but it's actually, the mother of the family. And so we're very thankful that we have so many women filmmakers in our collection, as well as your collection has sound, which is very unique. And so we're so glad, even for the happy accidents and all for the other intentional things that you recorded. Okay. I know we have Leah as well. And would you like to contribute any words tonight, or perhaps Lydia?
So I would just add that it's always a joy to watch the Southside Homie Movie Project and the Spinning Home Movies. My family's collection has been featured in a number of different episodes, and each one is so different, even if some of the same or similar clips get used. So the approach that whether it's the DJ or this time composers and performers, the approach each person takes to it is thoughtful. It is clear to me, it is thoughtful, it's meaningful, it really matches the visual that you see. So I'm sitting there sort of waiting to see my family clips. And then sometimes I almost miss them because I'm so engaged listening to the music, watching other family clips. I see the commonalities, I see the differences. It's just always a joy to participate.
Thank you for those kind words.
Okay, I wanted to comment also. My sister and I are here, both of us together. And I wanted to say that, oh God, turn the volume off. I wanted to say that it is amazing how the four artists were so creative in putting together all of the movements. And I second the last lady as she spoke and said that, you know, she was just so engaged in watching everybody in the videos. And, you know, my sister and I sat there, we saw our mother graduating from college, you know, from Chicago State. And I said, what year was that? I couldn't even remember the year. And then we saw Under the Joy, the last movement, our aunt's 50th wedding anniversary, aunt and uncle. And all of our beautiful aunts when they were so young and vibrant. So it's amazing. And I just want to applaud the young people that pulled these videos that they were able to, you know, like the one where, you know, she talked about, you couldn't tell whether, I think it was movement 3 or something like that, where the warning, you couldn't tell whether it was a joyous occasion or a sad occasion. And we saw the videos from the 1940s and the men with the top hats and the canes. I just, you know, it takes my breath away to see that someone is as creative as these 4 people. It's amazing.
Y'all are getting a lot of love. Do y'all want to, this is one of the, what I love about this program is that we have this moment where artists also meet donors and filmmakers and we all get to just kind of chat. Are there any responses, Decomposed, that you like to offer or questions to our home movie donors?
The main thing that I just want to say is thank you for documenting your lives and sharing your stories with us. I know we were just talking about as a group how it's so important for Black people in particular to archive and document and save our stories, because we were talking about our families like we need to do more. We need videos that we can look back on. So the fact that you guys had that foresight, we could continue telling your stories for generations to come. I'm just so thankful for the opportunity and glad that you guys taken it upon yourselves to tell those stories so we have them forever and more artists will continue to work with them in amazing ways.
I just want to say the documentation was quite by accident. We, as children, we were not always happy participants
and cooperative.
While our father was doing these recordings, and I'm just amazed that that this has turned out to be a contribution of what ordinary Black life was like, you know, during the 50s and 60s and the 70s when my father was really active, you know, doing these recordings. And I know he would just be overjoyed that you know, that his film is making this type of contribution. So it is a delight to see that, you know, you all have carried this further in recording our history.
I would agree with the point of us not always being happy participants. You know, I remember many a time we would see my father get out the camera, and while we were not permitted to eye roll or even think about eye rolling, lest there be some cost to pay for that. On the inside, there were eye rolls like, not again, not again. But then later on in life, and especially after my father passed away, they were so precious to be able to look back and see him and see all of these different events where we were gathered together. And it's been so meaningful as I've aged, and even younger than I am now, gaining an appreciation for it. So I appreciate you all keeping it alive and giving it life and giving it new lives so that other people get to see it and see it in these different ways and you all's different approaches.
Yes, it's a remarkable thing that we're able to do at the Southside Home Movie Project to allow for these films to have a new afterlife, to care for them, to keep them safe, as well as to represent them for the community, for our film donors, and for artists and students and other residents who have been here long and those are new to get an appreciation for what we know as the South Side of Chicago. I see that Avery's joined us, who's been a critical linchpin of this entire series. Avery, how are you doing?
I'm great, yeah. Hey, everybody. Sorry for my tardiness. This has been wonderful. It's been really an honor to hear from all of you. I just wanted to say that this episode is really incredible. Every episode's different, but I really loved being able to work on 4 distinct films this time around and getting to meet 4 very different, very amazing artists. I wanted to also offer, my own experience watching it tonight, which was essentially, I think a lot about these films and the fact that they are silent and there's this sort of dimension that's hidden from us. With the exception of your films, Christina, that wonderful clip of William Jr. and others. It's such a treat to be able to hear what's going on because we don't often get to hear, we can only see. And I think with this episode, hearing the 4 different soundtracks, it really gave us a good idea of how different these films feel when you do have music attached to them. And I think someone in the chat mentioned a film from the Patton collection of a bunch of folks hanging outside of a church. And that appeared both in Yele's film and Caitlin's film. In one case, Yele's composition, the morning song, gave it this really slow, pensive feeling. And then Caitlin had this arrangement of the Jackson 5 song, I Want You Back, which had this really bouncy, joyful attitude. And it was just really crazy because the film hit me differently in each moment. So I'm wondering if other folks have experiences like that where the music kind of pulled something out of the film that you didn't know was there or surprised you in a certain way.
I think the music makes all the difference in the world. I'm still doing these kinds of projects with photographs and then setting them to music. And I tell you, when you add the narration and then the music and then the pictures, I mean, it can be really awesome. I don't know how. Well, when I was doing it, I first started doing it before sound was affordable, and then I graduated to the Super 8 that had film with it, and that was a great advancement of the work. But it's been a journey, from the early years even up till now. Just seeing where the technology has gone, it's just really fascinating, and you just never know where it's going. Everything is just so powerful now that you can't help but look back at your footage and your old pieces and then try to put something together with the technology that's available. And it's amazing what you can accomplish.
It truly is. And we're in a whole new place with technology right now, being able to connect multiple families, multiple family donors and musicians and artists. And we're in audiences across the country and sometimes across the world. And so we wanted to do something special. Again, we wanted to open up the Zoom room and make it a Zoom party. Okay, can folks join? If we were in person, we would have that moment where folks could come up and everyone could give you your flowers. We hope that you all could join our Zoom party if you're interested and stay after 8 o'clock. We're gonna end the broadcast at 8, but if you want to come by and just say hello to our artists or to our film donors, we would love to have you.
Hello? Hello?
Oh, hello?
Yes. I'm Lynette Frazier. I'm just excited because you all are so excited. I just can't, I'm way up in age, and I was taking these films before. I didn't even know what I was doing. I was just experimenting in life. But I don't know exactly what you all are talking about, but I'm excited because I can put myself in the place of each one of you, and I get that feeling that you get when you have seen all the films, so the films you are addressing at this moment. I just want you to know that I love my films, all the films that you show. I'm not technologically astute, so I can't get into too many of the spinning series that you've had, but I am excited every time I see one. I have a smile on my face. I don't care who is the author. I just enjoy it, and I enjoy this conversation this evening, even though I really don't know what your subject is or what you're talking about. But I'm excited because I know how you feel and how you can get sensations out of just seeing different things. And I have lots of films, but all over the world. But I don't know how to put them together. But you are doing an excellent job of doing. I don't know how you can do it, but thank you. I'm Lynette Frazier. I have lots of films out there somewhere. Keep using them and let the world see them. That's what I'm glad they're in the archives, because now everybody can see them, including my family. I'm from a large family. I know I'm talking a lot. Stop me when you get ready. But I'm from a large family, and they stay excited, and they just don't know what they're overwhelmed. Okay, thank you, Justin, and all of you are just wonderful. Thank you.
Well,
thank you.
Thank you so much, Lynette. I'm so glad you could join us. We'll make sure that you can watch the episode. You're featured heavily in it. You yourself, you led our show. Corey made a very beautiful tribute to Black women's autonomy. And so I think you'll very much enjoy it. Your travels are featured heavily in it.
Thank you.
I just want to say, Lynette, your energy is exactly what I was trying to capture. So even if you haven't seen the film, that's what I was going for. You are unbothered. You are living your life. You're like, I'm not apologizing. Like, this is what it is. And that's what I wanted to show. So I appreciate
you're right on point.
I'm glad. That makes me feel really good.
Well, I just want to thank our audience for joining us. I want to thank our film donors. I want to thank the musicians of Decomposed. I want to thank Arts and Public Life, the Center for Race, Politics, and Culture, for the Franke Institute, for everyone involved, our Southside on Movie Project interns, Sabrina Craig, our Director of Public Programs, our Director, Jacqueline Stewart. I'm Justin Williams, the Archivist and Project Manager. We're so glad you joined us for this incredible episode. Join the Zoom party if you can, say hello, and if not, we'll see you at our next episode. Night.
Night.
Night.